Join us for the very first IFL Live at London's Indigo at the O2, Sunday, August the 13th, with me, Kugan Cassius, and some very special guests. Eddie Hearn, Darren Barker, Johnny Fisher, and more. Tickets now on sale. So in the words of Eddie Hearn,
you get up, you dress up, and you fucking show up.
This is Colin McGuigan for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast.
Did you say Colin?
You're such a prick. We've just seen Diego Pacheco winning devastating fashion. How pleased are you with that result, first of all?
Yeah, look, special fighter Diego Pacheco. He is literally a superstar in the making. Unbelievable performance, coming off the back of a great win against Jack Cullinan as well. And aim to get him back out in November, headline again, and he has got, a huge future ahead.
Obviously working with Gallego's team and Terry there as well. Will you be working with Terry going forward? Any more fights, anything like that?
Yeah, Terry's a good guy. He's a good friend of yours as well. We'll definitely be having Terry back, but Gallegos, brilliant, tough fighter. It's the kind of test that Diego needed as well. Coming off the back of...
Come on, Frank, come back. We'll leave it running for a second.
Sorry, for those who don't know, Terry's become a good friend of Colin over the last week, and he's trying to make me laugh during this interview, and it doesn't help that he's pissing himself behind the camera. But brilliant performance from Diego Pacheco, and like I say, huge future, and the perfect opponent for where he is in his career now.
SoFi Stadium, the YouTube Theatre, could that potentially be next for Diego Pacheco?
Yeah, that's the plan, working on the YouTube Theatre currently, and the plan is getting back out, like I say, sort of mid-November, headlining another show.
Likely opponent for Diego Pacheco then in November. Someone maybe like Jason Quigley, Paddy McCrory, or possibly put those two against each other on the Katie Taylor undercard in Dublin?
Are you their agents?
No, I'm just thinking outside the box there.
No, look, possibly. We need to keep stepping him up. He had a great performance tonight, and all these experiences are just going to, set him up for those big fights. He's 22 years old. He's been a pro for 5 years, but he's still 22 years old. As much as he's now 19 and 0, I think, after tonight, he's still young. So we have to do it at the right stage. But if it was up to him, he would want to fight the top people at 168 tomorrow. But we have to do it at the right pace. But they're, possibly names that could be spoken about.
Eduardo Hernandez, and I'm not talking about Eddie Hearn. What a performance from him. What's next for him? Obviously, his Matchroom debut tonight. Really pleased with that, yeah?
Yeah, look, we've been lucky enough to work with him a few times, but signed him recently, and that's his first performance as a Matchroom fighter. Brilliant performance, huge power, highly ranked with the WBC #1, and obviously the obvious mandatory to a Shaki Foster when that comes. That's a potential fight for sure, and something we'll look at. That'll be a tremendous fight, but he's another brilliant fighter and another great performance, great finish from him.
Joe Cordina tweeted tonight. What did you make of that tweet, and what's gone wrong there between yourselves and Joe?
Look, I've been speaking a lot. I'm actually seeing Charlie Sims on Sunday, and look, Charlie's a close friend of mine. I get on with Joe very well. I think it's the understanding between, obviously, a domestic fight is always, you look at the title holders, the only potential option currently available is a Shaki Foster. The numbers just don't add up for that. There's not a stadium available to do that fight in. We're limited in terms of capacity. Obviously in Cardiff, it's 3,500 seats in there. So you're limited in terms of the capacity to do an event with Joe Cordina. Not his fault, but because of the stadium, with the football back on. So it is hard to make the numbers stack up to do a unification in Cardiff based on doing it in an arena with 3,500-4,000 tickets. I can understand where he's coming from, but obviously for us, we want to keep momentum building. We want to make sure that Joe Cordina carries on the road he's on. He's been in 2 tremendous back-to-back fights. The Zelfa Barrett fight would be a great fight to make. We would love to make it. We're looking at other options as well. Kakachi a possibility. I know Eddie's got in contact with George Warren about that, but let's see how things play out. But I think it's about understanding where we are in terms of the position, and of course we want him to unify. We want him to become an undisputed champion, but everyone else has to play to that tune. So it's not always as easy as that.
Jamel Herring followed up on a tweet. he offered Cordina the fight. They had a little back and forth about that. I then reached out to Jamel and he said that he's open to that fight from September onwards. Yeah, it was, wasn't
Thanks very
it?
much,
Is that something that you'll look to do?
What, are you a matchmaker now?
Basically, isn't it?
I think could be, but I think it's going to be unrealistic on the money. I think. I don't know. Let's see.
Next one up, Ryan Garcia tweeted tonight.
Can you make?
I can make that happen.
Find out what the numbers are.
There's my job at Matchroom. Frank Warren, hope you're listening to that. My job at Matchroom awaits. Frank, Ryan Garcia tweeted. What's the story there? Will there be discussions?
Look, it's a great fight. We're obviously looking at the Devin Haney fight as well as the Jack Catterall fight as well. Let's see. But the Regis Prograis Ryan Garcia fight would be a massive fight as well. Ryan Garcia is coming off the back of the biggest fight that will probably, in terms of numbers, this year. So there's definite interest there. But lots of different options. Let's see how things play out. He's obviously got things going on with Golden Boy. We'll have to see.
Would Jack Catterall be the front runner for that?
For
Prograis?
I think, as I said, Prograis in a position with the WBC where they've given him the option, not the option, but discussions with Devin Haney and potential mandatory of Sandor Martin. So, our focus for Jack Catterall, we would love to deliver him a world title shot, but at the same time, we want to keep him active and keep building that momentum. He's been out of the ring for a long time, But I think over the next 7 to 10 days, that whole sort of potential fights will play out.
You told me back in New York, you may not remember, that you were on the verge of signing an overseas world champion. You also told me if it wasn't announced in 7 days, you would then give me the exclusive that you would tell me who that overseas world champion is. I actually forgot about it. It's been a month now. Haven't heard anything. Is it Jai Opatay?
I forgot who it is. You
Frank,
sure I told you?
You definitely told me.
I don't know. You might see
Jai Opatay?
I don't know. You might see news soon.
Is that a potential? Because obviously there's the deal with the Tasman fighters in DAZN. Is that Jai Opatay confirmed?
How many times do you want to say Jai Opatay?
I like that name.
What, Jai Opatay?
Confirmed, Frank Smith. Next on that, Felix Kaish rumoured to have left Tony Sims. Any truth in that?
Yeah, that's true. He's working with some new trainer. I'll let it's a personal thing for him. But I spoke to him earlier today. So let's see. We're still planning to do the Austin Williams fight, but waiting for an update from him currently.
Who's going to be the first headliner in the States after Alicia Baumgardner? Is that going to be Bivol in Chicago?
Potentially, or we're looking at a lot of options. A lot of different options. Maybe Montana Love against Richardson Hitchens. Some other fights maybe for September, but Bivol could push into October possibly.
Eddie alluded to the fact that there was possibly a US show on August 26th. He said it was close. Where would that land?
I think we're just looking at options now. We've got 2 or 3 potential locations we're looking at.
Any feedback from Triple G on the Ryder offer that we spoke about a few weeks ago?
Nothing currently. It's more of a discussion around what does Golovkin want to do. Like I said, we would love to work with Gennady Golovkin. As I said before, love to deliver a potential fight in Kazakhstan. We've had meetings out there before, sort of around, potential opportunities, and I think that would be a great way, to sort of, not a farewell fight, but I think he deserves a massive fight in Kazakhstan. So, maybe that's an opportunity, but, I think he's enjoying his time. But he's given so much to boxing. I think he's enjoying a bit of time outside of the ring. But I definitely see him getting back in there potentially, and John Ryder will be a perfect opponent for that.
Next week in Detroit, ticket sales going well. Obviously, the addition of Jermaine Franklin and Montana Love Hitchens being pulled off the card. Has that affected tickets at all?
Look, it's a small venue in all honesty. It holds about 3,500, 4,000. But I think we'll have a packed out house in there on come next Saturday. Obviously, Alicia Baumgardner headlining in her hometown. You got Andy Cruz's professional debut, Jermaine Franklin, as you say, a local fighter. So we're going to have a great night in there and a great atmosphere.
AJ Whyte, tickets come out on Monday. The pre-sale seems to have went well. Excited for this?
Yeah, look, fastest pre-sale in boxing history at the O2. And we've had some huge nights at the O2. Got another pre-sale tomorrow at the O2, the AXS pre-sale. And our Fight Pass pre-sale as well. And then on Monday, general on sale at 9 a.m. I'm not surprised at all. It's a huge fight. We all know what happened in the first one. We all know the history between the two of them. And it's the biggest fight out there that can be made right now as well. So for all these people talking about the fight and saying, is it pay-per-view worthy? Is it going to sell out? It's a massive fight. you got two of the biggest names in British boxing. Well, you know, I believe Anthony Joshua is the biggest name in British boxing today, even now. And look, massive fight, and it's going to be a sellout come Saturday at Monday at 10 a.m. Oh, here he is. Look at him, copying my glasses, copying my hair. All he had to do was go. All you had to do was go. What do you have to do? Go Istanbul to get that hair like that. Hey, get up there, boy! Yeah.
Monaco headliner, who would that likely be?
We're working on an interesting fight for that at the minute, just waiting for some things around potential world title fight, just waiting for a few bits from the governing bodies, but an interesting fight there.
That's one from me. Do you regret the comment that you made to me about the 1 million pay-per-view buys, or do you truly believe it can do that?
No, I believe it can do that. I wouldn't have said it. You know, like all these people, all these Instagram and Twitter comments, this is what I do every day of my life. You may think I'm a tea boy. I'm very good at making tea. I'm very good at making coffee. But this is literally my whole life. Is every single hour, every single day is this. So as much as you commenters on there, I love you, I appreciate you, and you keep me driven. But at the end of the day, you don't know shit about boxing.
The ego. What do you know about boxing?
Well, not a lot about boxing.
Nothing.
I know a lot about the business of boxing.
Right, the ego's out of control. What is like the feedback you're getting from this man? Because all I'm seeing is like his ego. I'm becoming so much more popular because of Frank. People are watching Frank and going, this kid is like, who is this kid? He's horrible. Bring back Eduardinho Hernandez or whatever you call me.
I mean, listen to that. I mean, exactly that just shows why you should appreciate me. Eduardinho Hernandez. I mean, oh, seriously. He's had a few palomas.
Well, Frank, enjoy your weekend with Terry. You're off to LA. Really nice speaking to you. Appreciate it, mate, and see you in Detroit.
Thanks for having me, Colm.
Join us for the very first IFL Live at London's Indigo at the O2, Sunday, August the 13th, with me, Kugan Cassius, and some very special guests. Eddie Hearn, Darren Barker, Johnny Fisher, and more. Tickets now on sale. So in the words of Eddie Hearn,
You get up, you dress up, and you fucking show up.